The crowds at hands-off rallies had countless messages, but one shared mission: to protest the policies of President Trump.
It hurts a lot to watch what's happening to the country.
Americans around the country are out on the streets saying, no way.
Investors are bracing for the week ahead after stocks plummeted last week. President Trump's 10% tariffs are now in effect, with higher reciprocal tariffs set to switch on this week. Cameras caught a glimpse of President Trump as he left his Florida golf club Saturday. But in a post on Truth Social, the president called the changes an economic revolution and told Americans to hang tough.
Their tariffs are not only imbecilic, they're illegal, they're unconstitutional, and we're going to turn this around.
Rallies were also held overseas with crowds in Paris, London, and other European capitals.
The policies Trump is following are a threat to the world as we have come to know it and enjoy it as very privileged Westerners.
Today, we really want to send a message of solidarity to our friends and families back in America.
President Trump returns to Washington, where he's set to meet with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu this week. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News.
Cities across the country yesterday drew hundreds of thousands of protesters in defiance of the Trump administration. And it's not just here in the U.S., but across Europe as well. Rallies were also held in Paris, London, and Lisbon. And then here in the district, more than 10,000 people traveled to the hands-off rally on the National Mall. Our John Duran was there.
In the shadow of the country's most recognizable monument, energetic masses came with signs, chants.
I'm here because we all have to stand up for our rights and to defend against what this administration is doing.
Hearing from prominent politicians who say they're frustrated with the new presidential administration.
And if anybody was slow to wake up to this authoritarian...
I think we're already in a coup, with the very simple explanation that the way our Constitution was written, the first article in that Constitution firmly establishes that it is Congress that has the power to make laws, not the executive branch, not the judiciary, but Congress. And from the outset, the Trump administration has worked both to undermine those laws through the concept of impoundment, but then also to override those laws through firing people, for example, where there were specific laws in place to specify the ways in which those people could be fired, that they simply flouted. So the attempt to destroy the congressional authority over lawmaking, and now the threat to ignore the judiciary as well, amounts to an existing constitutional crisis and the attempt to take over our nation with one strong man. I think we're already in a coup.
No kidding. Wake up.
Yeah.
3 months in, 3,000 years in, it feels like you just figuring it out. That's why they just went out marching, because they just figuring it out when black folks stay home, because they figured it out a long time ago. Good morning. I am your host of Let It Be Known. I'm Stacy Brown. This is the morning show for BlackPressUSA.
Hey, good morning, Stacy. And as you know, but for those of you who don't know, I'm the co-pilot. I'm Niele, and Let It Be Known is the place where we amplify Black voices and bring you the headlines that are important to Black folks.
Yeah, I mean, look, y'all figuring it out now. It's a coup. It was a coup in November. It was a coup when he was running. The fact that he could run is a coup.
Yeah, Black folks, I think a lot of people were line dancing this weekend because I didn't see a lot of us at the protest. I saw a few of us.
Right.
It was line dancing, There's a new one out. There's a new line dance out, y'all.
But there was surprisingly, there was hundreds of thousands, probably millions of people worldwide protesting, which it's really interesting. It's really interesting to see that, because these include some people who thought that this was for them. This was for this administration. This guy would be, solve their issues, really their issues with Blackness. Let's be real about it.
They're saying that it was about 5 million people out there, and I believe it because it was a huge push. But it's just, it's I don't want to feel good about it, but it's a difference when we don't show up. The impact is not as strong.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure the organizers really worked to try and get Black folks to join. Imagine have Black folks join. But you know, I'm gonna quote the great scholar, the philosopher, the number one philosopher in the world, 𝗏𝗏𝗏. He wrote, those protests were real cute, but where was that energy during the last presidential election? The 92% and 87% are not impressed. We tried to tell y'all, but you all waited until what do you say? You all waited until yourself, your me, ma, and papa started losing benefits and getting fired. Leave us alone. Go fight Trump and Musk while we second line and what do you say? Second line dance. I guess second line and dance to where those fans are at. Sign the Blacks. I mean, look, but the thing is, that you got yourself into this. You know, your parents used to say, you got yourself into this. You know, now get yourself out. You know, they because here's the thing. No matter, you know, and I'm being serious, we talk about it, whatever. Those folks can get out of this. They can get out of this. People say, how? He got 4 years. Not necessarily. Because if the Senate and the Congress had backbone, because all these guys, I mean, they you know, many of them are racist, but even though they're racist, they're getting hurt too, right? If they stand up and say enough is enough, they would put an end to it tomorrow.
Yeah,
they could put an end to it tomorrow. We can't. So thus, Black folks said, "Hey, y'all go ahead and have your party out in the streets. We can't do nothing about it." Black folks say they did all they could do.
Right. I saw a lot of Congressional Black Caucus members out there, and a lot of the Black leadership. I saw the president of NAACP in Atlanta or Georgia was there. I saw Rep. Hank Johnson out there, and somebody else, Tiffany Lofton, huge organizer for unions, as well as she was an organizer for helping get student loan debt canceled. She was out there. And so you had some people, but then I also saw we had Wes Bellamy on last week, and him and Gary Chambers out of Louisiana, they were having lunch. So it was just interesting to see how certain people, you know, made a statement on Saturday. Some said, hey, I want to be out here just to see. And then some were just posting, I'm at lunch, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Like, well, so it's interesting how we're responding.
And you could expect members of the Congressional Black Caucus to have participated. And here's why. So the CBC, while they're Black folks, their districts are to have so many white folks in the district. They go to represent their representation.
Yeah,
because you know those are the people who are going to vote for them.
Their constituents wanted to see them out there. And I mean, they should be out there because they have to, in order for them to have a full assessment of what's going on. I mean, I'm not mad at them for participating. If there were going to be Black people in the march, it would be them. And I expect that, as well as the NAACP, the Urban League, SCLC.
By the way,
yeah, they should be out there.
Did you see Jasmine Crockett's Instagram conversation with Megan Good?
I saw a little bit of it.
Yeah. It was interesting, but I think that, you know, I mean, it's good seeing. I mean, Megan Candy. I mean, you'll get too much better eye candy than that. But you know, Megan Good. But what I say that only to say that Jasmine could have had that conversation with the people, because she carried the conversation as you expected. Right. And she, you know, it was a lot of stuff that you can't expect actors and actresses and stuff to be able to really weigh in heavily on anyway. But it was a good conversation nonetheless. But again, if the conversation lasted an hour, Jasmine probably spoke 50 minutes of the hour from what I've seen anyway.
Yeah, I think it was probably more so that she wanted to reach an audience that necessarily might not pay attention. And so that's where you pull. But I also
I'm not hating on it.
No, I'm not saying that. But I'm the bigger point I'm trying to make is that I think that these lawmakers need to understand that celebrities don't win elections. You know, if you look at
They
what
should have learned that last year for sure.
sway voters, you know, from Beyonce to Cardi B, and to Glorilla, all these individuals pulled up, and it didn't make a difference. So, you know, I just feel like lawmakers should be a little more cautious and a little more strategic about how they convey their messages.
Here's the thing: if Beyonce doesn't put you over the top, nobody will. It's as simple as that.
Or Taylor Swift, or Taylor Swift. The Swifties
Yeah.
couldn't do it either.
Look, and let me just make a clarification. I refer to Megan Good as eye candy, that she is, but I'm not saying that she is not a brilliant young woman. I think she probably is. I don't know her, but she is certainly a good-looking woman. So, but you see all the other stuff going on. For instance, I mean, I know we got several things on our agenda this morning, but the National Park Service, they have rewritten or tried to, they're trying to rewrite history, right? They have changed how its website describes key moments from slavery to Jim Crow, even rewrote the history of the Underground Railroad. This is what this administration is doing.
Yeah, I mean, they told us, and I mean, we know. I mean, it's just like now, it's just, you know, like what they're going to do. We know they're going to do it. It's just shocking to us that how, you know, I guess we're allowing it to happen. I saw, I was trying to find the church, but there's a church that decided to put in their budget funding for the Smithsonian. And the question, the question was, I wonder how many other churches we can get to, you know, preserve our own institutions.
No, absolutely not. Stop it. I think you got to stop that. No.
Why?
Let the folks who should do it do it. Don't put that on they pass the plate too much. I don't care what y'all say. They pass the plate. They leave these people alone in the churches. Leave them alone.
Nobody said anything about offering. I said they were going to put it in their annual budget.
And that means that it's going to come from the people who go to church.
Okay, so, you know, we should preserve our institutions.
Shoot. Come on now. Poor people go to church. Stop going in.
Well, I mean, the offering is not mandatory. It's a choice. And so you give it to.
Not when they close the door and start passing the plate around. I'm serious. They showed a thing online the other day. They passing around the credit card machine in church. Come on, stop it.
Well, here's the thing about it. If you don't have to participate, I mean, but if that's the way that church decides to run their house, then I mean, it's their prerogative.
Neil, like I want to reach through the screen and smack your face.
I mean, because a lot of times I pay my offering through Givelify. And I pay with a credit card, and so it's not that outlandish to have credit card payments. We have to evolve with the times.
I guess.
And I'm not saying that they're not bad churches out there, but I'm just saying in general, I thought that was a great idea because we have to preserve our own institutions.
Yeah, I'm not saying good or bad. I'm just saying leave the people in the churches alone. That's what I'm saying. It's like the woman. It's like the black woman. People put everything on the backs of the black woman. Now they want to put everything on the backs of the parishioners. Stop it. That's my take on it. I mean, I know we differ in that, but that's just my take on it. Neil's like, I'm gonna choke this guy out.
No, I mean, I think that difference of opinion good community. I thought that was I really appreciated that.
So Georgia Senate approved a DEI ban on education. Georgia schools and colleges could lose funding for scholarships, loans, and grants if they continue their diversity policies. It's like, aren't we tired of just playing this game? Shouldn't they be tired of playing this game? I mean, well, we know what the end game is. We do. We understand. But after a while, don't people see right through this stuff now? Even white folks see through this. Do you think they see? Do you think white folks now see through this? I mean, I think we saw 5 million people out in the streets, so that also is part of, yes, they see through it, right?
Right. But I mean, they also saw slavery and they just kind of, sip their coffee just like you just did. So I mean, if it doesn't bother them unless it bothers their household. As long as it's not, them, then it's fine. And I think a lot of the liberalists feel that way,
But it is bothering them, isn't it? Isn't it? This DEI stuff, and the fire and all these, they thought it was just some people who look like us. Well, these people not like us, and they still getting hurt.
Mm-hmm.
So they starting to feel the burn. I keep seeing more, Neil. I honestly have seen more and more, and I wonder how much of it is authentic. Some of it is. I know it's authentic because I've looked up some of it. But how much of it is authentic? Because you never know with social media, you never know with AI and stuff. So I keep seeing more and more and more videos of people coming on saying they regret voting for this guy.
I see that too. I see a lot of that. I see a lot of, you know what else I see? That mariachi band that was playing for Donald Trump. I see undocumented family members of people that are getting scooped up by ICE, and then after you hear them crying, they play that video. So it's tough. It's tough.
It's like a jungle sometimes. Makes me wonder
how I keep going under.
Oh my God.
I mean, geez.
It's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
But it's hilarious. Right. But once again, and I'm gonna say this with all seriousness, because I even saw Mitch McConnell and a couple of the Republican senators, surprisingly, like, this stuff is crazy. This shouldn't be happening. It should be happening. Okay. So Mitch and others, y'all got the power. Y'all can stop this.
Right.
They can stop it.
They're not going to go. They're not going to go that far though, because there is a fear factor and an intimidation factor that Donald Trump holds over the white people, especially those in power. And so they may come out and say something, but they're not going to try to do anything to mess with his policies or agendas.
No, they're not. Plus, he has the big cult behind him too, and that's the real thing. These people will sacrifice their lives for him. A Black woman, by the way, is running for Mitch McConnell's seat. Did you see that?
Yeah, I actually met her last year at the Collective PAC. She ran for Attorney General. I think it was Attorney General, Lieutenant Governor. And so the Collective PAC, which is a PAC that raises money for Black candidates. And they've helped put a lot of individuals in seats across the country, from municipality to state. There she is. Let's get her name. But it's really exciting to see her. She lost. Of course, she lost. And so now she's running for this seat. And I'm sure that she'll be endorsed by the Collective PAC, Higher Heights, and all of the other Black super PACs, Emily's List. And it's Mitch, her name is Pamela Stevenson.
Yeah, Colonel Pamela Stevenson.
Yeah. And she
retired Air Force JAG officer.
Yeah, she gave such a powerful speech last year at the Collective PAC about why she's running, and I'm sure her sentiments are the same in this position. But is Mitch McConnell even able to run? I mean, he falls off of podiums. He has brain freezes in front of the mic. His equilibrium is off. Should he even be running again?
The only thing that's off.
I mean, why is he still running? I don't think he's running. He already announced his retirement, so she's running for his seat. We don't know who's going to run in his place on the Republican side. I'm sure Donald Trump is picking that person right now.
Well, yeah, looks like Byron Donalds is waiting in the wings to be governor of Florida. So I just got this. National Council of Negro Women issued a statement. We're going to talk about just briefly about this, Niele, if you don't mind, the support of the National Museum of African American History and Culture, the National Council of Legal Women. Says this, quote, the NCNW strongly opposes any attempt to censor, distort, and dismantle the telling of America's full and inclusive history. Efforts to withhold funding from the Smithsonian Complex, especially the National Museum of African American History and Culture, threaten not only a vital educational resource, but also the very integrity of our national narrative. So the latest on that, at least from what we're hearing, is that they are really they're going to try and gut that museum. One of the things that I know we've heard is that they're going to take away the entire bottom floor. Of course, the bottom floor, the basement, is where you start. Generally, many people start the tour, and it's all about slavery. They want to take away any reference to slavery, Jim Crow. They even want to remove, if they haven't already, the casket of Emmett Till. Any references to Jim Crow, any references to slavery, as we said, any references to the civil rights movement. Now, if you've taken out the civil rights movement, and all of that, it's no more museum.
Right. I mean, but that goes back to my point of like the Black church. And now you hear the National Council of Negro Women. I know the president, Siobhan Bradley, she is very proactive. And I love her spirit because it falls in line with Dorothy Heights and Mary McLeod Bethune. She's trying to definitely put this organization back on the forefront. And I think that's definitely one of the tasks that we need, like to amplify this message. And so everybody needs to be concerned about this. And if you haven't been to the museum, strongly encourage you to get there as soon as you can. Because maybe if you were to experience it, you would understand why this would be a catastrophe and a hit to the Black experience in this country if they were to do that.
Let me tell you something. I think I'm gonna lower my life insurance output. I think my wife she might gonna kill me because the coffee. She always makes this great coffee, and it's really good, right? And it made me think about like years ago, like she used to like her coffee with not only the creamer but sugar. Like I was like, come on, I used to make her coffee so I would take stuff out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't have all this sweet stuff. Wait, what's going on here? She finally gonna get rid of me, huh? I know I've been a pain in the, But anyway.
You are funny.
Dr. Nicole says, let them try that with the Holocaust Museum. And David says they don't want their barbarism on display. This could not be possible with the Holocaust Museum. Yeah, listen, again, the idea that any person of color, not just any person of color, but especially a person of color, a Black person, can support any of this is just insane. But now you got to a point where anybody supporting the overall agenda of this administration is hateful, self-hating, and insane as well. Because this is not just about Black folks anymore. This guy, I've watched like mainstream, like the what you call it, the CNBC, Credible, and whatever, and others, and they're saying, well, gosh, it's unbelievable. His goal really is to destroy the economy. And then when they asked him, he kind of, without saying it, confirmed that's his goal. He came in, he inherited the best economy that a president had inherited in decades. And he's destroyed it within, it's like they say Rome wasn't built in a day, but he certainly destroyed America in a day.
I'm just still going back to the museum and to think about them trying to erase our experience in this country. I mean, I'm ready. That's one protest that I think I'd jump on a plane and come to. I mean, seriously, like that.
Make sure the pilot ain't DE&I.
That really, like, it's like a punch in the stomach. I mean, if you've been to that museum, and it's not the bottom floor is not just about slavery in America. It is about the evolution of slavery in this world on all
what that is,
continents.
right? What it is an education. It's an education. That museum itself is an education.
Yeah, I
Everybody
mean,
needs
the
to be.
first floor. Yeah, I mean, and then it's like there's one part if you've never been there, and it's like you kind of go around the corner, and it's like the slave ships. And so when you're walking on the wood, you kind of hear the eeriness of it, and it makes you feel like you're on a slave ship. I
The
mean,
way they
all
did
of
that,
these,
yep.
yeah, it is just, it creaks. It has sounds. You
Yeah.
know, then you hit the corner, and I'm telling you, it's not just about slavery in America.
No.
It's about
No.
it even tells a story
Well,
about
the
how
story.
we, the black folks, we was a part of it.
Right.
It's
But
history.
the story, right? It's history, and the story. We say beginning in the basement because it's like this people rising, right? Because as you go up to the next floor, and the next floor, you see black excellence. You see how black folks in general was able to overcome all of this with no help, no allies. And they were able to rise above. And as the higher you get, then you start celebrating black contributions to music, black contributions to the arts, black contributions to NASA, the science. And,
But they probably don't want to get rid of that. What they want to get rid of is that journey when you get in that elevator and you go down. And I'm telling you, when you get in that elevator and you go down, the whole mood, I mean, white folks, whoever's in that elevator, there is a solemn, it is a stillness, it is a silence.
Yeah.
That you can't
It's
even
one of those
describe.
things. Have you ever had this happen when you was there? I've been there. When you get on, like you said, that elevator after you coming out of that basement, have you had a white folk apologize to you?
I've never had that, but I've had them kind of look at me like just like with the acknowledgement of I'm sorry.
And I remember during COVID, not COVID, it was COVID, George Floyd. I had friends, folks I knew, white, lawyer, police detective. We always had a great relationship, still do. Call me up after the George and apologize. One of them wrote me a note. And then he went on to say, I've always looked at myself as somebody who is fair, whatever, but this is what, fairness is about, what being, non-racist is about, whatever. And I mean, the letter was so incredible. I can't read it to you because it would give away who the person is, and I don't want to do that to that person. But I was stunned because this was one of like the least, these folks I'm talking about, like the least racist folks I've ever came across. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh. So the museum, you have folks like you said, I've experienced that a few times. It's that acknowledgement. And Greer, by the way, says Niele to get your bags ready because we're not letting that go down. So she said, get your bags ready. Take that trip. You get on that United Airlines flight, Delta, whomever you take. Don't tell me you take Spirit. But Spirit is doing good. But yeah. And this is the thing we have to do. We have to do this. I think we need to, whenever you come, we need to go over there and do some, before all this does crash and burn, we got to do some live reports, some recorded reports or whatever from the basement to the top over there. Just so people
I would love
have
that.
that.
Greer, can we get a budget?
Can we get a budget? Can we get some money?
But I think it's so important. I mean, this museum, I'm telling you guys, it is the Black experience on steroids. I mean, it gives the experience of the Black press, of the Black church. There's a section there about the National Council of Negro Women. Okay, they have Nat Turner's Bible there. They have slavery cabins there. And then when you go through, from Africa to slavery to Jim Crow to civil rights, you're at this place in the middle of the museum, and there's like a pool. There's a pool there. And it's water coming down, and you find people in there crying. and just taking in everything that they've experienced on those first 2 floors. And then you go up to the Black Excellence, but you have to take a pause. And I'm telling you, the Emmett Till, it's like you're at the mortuary and there's a long line of people generally, and you just wait there to pass his coffin. It's his real coffin. And there's music playing. And so it is draining, because it really makes you feel what it's like to be Black in America. And all of our struggles, but all of our accomplishments and triumphs too. So for them to do this, for these white folks, for these saltines to do this, these woody woodpeckers, for these woody woodpeckers to do this.
Wait a minute.
I'm telling you, it's a Marvin Gaye makes you want to holler.
Oh my.
It makes you want to holler.
Wait, let me sip my coffee and listen.
This is too important. Now, hands off, yeah, but this right here is way too important. And there is something, how like Stacy, when it's like stuff has been boiling over and it just might be the paper falling off the table and somebody just goes off and you're like, well, why are you so mad? Because the paper, it was only a piece of paper. No, it wasn't just a piece of paper. It was everything that led up to that piece of paper falling off the table. And this is one of those moments.
Well, a few things. I'll save David Youngblood's comment for a moment, but because he hits the nail on the head, knocks it out of the park. But Mike V says the banning of Black books and authors was a precursor to this. That's why every time they're doing all this other crazy stuff, you got to watch the real intention. Dr. Joni says that is erasure of this country. That museum is amazing. It is about our story, erasing everything. The museum is brilliant. Dr. Joni says she wept. Dr. Nicole said this is exactly the sentiment they've tried to erase. Trixie says she hasn't visited. She's always wanted to visit it. You got to do it quickly.
Yeah.
But really, David Youngblood says America is the only place where the loser of their Civil War gets to write the history of the country.
And Nicole Hannah-Jones did a tweet and she said, mark my words and please understand, they erase your history so that they can erase your rights. So I think that's critical to recognize too. Erasing our history, erasing that museum is just the precursor to erasing our rights. So we got to start somewhere, y'all.
And Memphis Jokes is watching. He says it's a common theme: erase and replace. And it's just that museum, folks. If you haven't been, I'm not a big museum fan. Me, stuff bores me. That does not bore me.
No,
that museum,
I go every time.
I have gone a few. That museum is. Greer and I was just there a few months ago. That museum is absolutely incredible, and the way you will appreciate from the first time that you go there, you will appreciate the thought that went into this. The thought, it had to be. So a lot of times they'll get other folks to do work. Black folks was behind this museum.
Dr. Lonnie Bunch, we need to get him on here immediately. But I'm pretty sure because he's the secretary of all the Smithsonian.
Yeah. That was his thing, though.
That was his baby. Yeah. And he raised that money. But we also have to, understand that he's a secretary over all the Smithsonians. And so for them to be making a big deal just about this museum, what about all the other Smithsonians? Are they going to go to the portrait gallery and take out, there's this picture there in the portrait gallery of a white slave owner, and it's a Black woman kind of peeking through the art. It's a beautiful, are they going to take that down? Like, how are we going to allow them to pick and choose what the Black experience in this country is? How do they get to pick and choose what can stay and what can go? Like, we need to draw a line somewhere. And please, can we make a stop with this museum? It's just too important to our experience in this country.
And my feeling on this is twofold. First is this is the one time because you and I have discussed stuff about Black people, Black billionaires, and Black influencers and stuff. and I've always had my issues with. You say they do stuff privately. Okay, I grant you that. I've always had my issues. You know that. But here's the thing: if y'all don't stand up now, and I'm talking, and yes, I'm not gonna put it on the average person. I am gonna put it on the Tyler Perrys, the Oprahs, the LeBron Jameses, et cetera, et cetera. I'm gonna put it all on them because your fame, your fortune, your millions, your billions, or whatever means absolutely nothing if y'all don't stand up here.
Right. And to not to defend them, but if you go to the museum and look at the wall, all of their names are there. They all contributed to helping build.
Your money
this
is useless
situation.
if you don't. This is where you put your money where your mouth is. Because what I'm
And
saying,
they did the first time, and maybe they will this time.
And I'm hoping.
Yeah.
And yes, I saw Chuck D say that too. Memphis. Chuck did make a statement about this just a few days ago. He says that they're coming for the Public Enemy display as well at museum. But all of them, you know, Chuck, I'm talking all of them. They have to stand up. There's nobody who gets a pass on this if they sit on the sidelines on this one. This is the one thing.
It's an investment. Like they paid for it to be built, right? Oprah Winfrey, Tyler Perry, Denzel Washington, all of them. This is an investment that they made. So you would hope that they would protect their investment. We don't know right now. There could be conversations going on
Hopefully
as to how they preserve. You know, we don't know that. So we're going to reserve judgment. But this is an investment that they made, and hopefully they will protect their investment.
Yes, it is definitely our hope that they will. This is the time to stand up. Nobody will go broke behind it. None of these guys anyway. Their legacies are in there, and you know, if you care about, everybody wants to talk about how important the legacy is. Well, we shall soon find out. And I tell you what, I hope they are having those conversations, Niele, because they're running out of time. This thing is imminent. This is imminent. But here's the other side of that too. Let's say they do come up with whatever it might take to keep it intact, right? Because we don't know what the price tag is right now. We don't know what it all entails. Let's say they do that. But what's to stop? What happens? Because the next step would be this. I guarantee you this would be next. If Oprah and all of them came up and said, we got this, this would be next. It still falls under the umbrella of the Smithsonian. And so Trump and Vance and those guys will say, okay, if you continue on with that, we're going to take funding away from every other museum. We're going to crush you guys, the Smithsonian. But that's not our problem, though, right?
That's not our problem. That's just not my problem. That's just not my problem.
Doesn't it sound a little cruel on our part? No, I'm not conceding that.
No, because no, because this is typically how this country has always goes. What Black people do for ourselves generally helps all other minorities. So if we save the Smithsonian, guess what? It's gonna say, and Jewish people got money.
Not the Smithsonian, but I'm talking just the African American Museum, not the entire Smithsonian. I'm saying just the African American Museum.
But what I'm saying is, if we protect our museum, I guarantee you, it's gonna help all the other museums. That's just how just how it always goes for us. Anything that we do for ourselves, it always helps everybody else. So if we save our museum, it's gonna save theirs. Guarantee you.
Quinn says, I wouldn't mind paying towards it every month. Every Black person has a connection. Let's own our history. Yeah,
that's what the church was saying. Like, let's protect. But that's the whole premise of it. It's community. It is community. It's community. And to disregard the Black church, it's like we wouldn't even be here right now because the Black church led the civil rights movement. So the Black church is always a part of the liberation of Black folks, whether you like it or not.
I didn't say that. I said, don't put it on to those parishioners, is what I said. If Mr. Pastor that's making $1 million a year or so, if he wants to go reach into his vast resources, let him. I'm saying don't go and try and push another.
Well, I never said that. Now you're creating a narrative that was never said. I never said that.
I didn't say you said it. I'm saying it. I'm owning it. They always wait. I tell you, y'all Los Angeles people, y'all always ready to fight.
No, I'm not. But okay, let's move on.
Just ready to throw some hands. She better put the Vaseline on and get the nails ready and everything. Look at her. You're not supposed to be fighting. David says you're too pretty to be fighting. So the Arthur M. How about this, Niele? The Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation has made a $2 million donation to an Atlanta center to support Black entrepreneurs and help the organization keep its expansion plans on track as it scales its educational efforts. The donation from Blank, a co-founder of Home Depot, will help the Russell Innovation Center for Entrepreneurs, or RICE, support expansion of its facilities to provide programming and services for more Black business founders. And they just lost $13 million in grants from the federal government too. So this is big.
Yeah, I don't know his relationship with Donald Trump, but he's not supposed to be doing it.
It can't be good.
Okay, but I love it. Like this is an example of stepping up, and if more people did this, like I think we were talking last week about how they were saying like different corporations they're getting rid of DEI, but they're not getting rid of DEI. They're just taking the money and putting it under another department, but it's still functioning. It's like, let's not appease him. If you want to keep your DEI program, if you want to stick up for minorities, just do that. And so for him to just come out and say he's going to do this for Black entrepreneurs, oh, thank you so much for your boldness, sir.
But it also comes at a risk, right? I mean, this is a billionaire. He also owns the Atlanta Falcons football team, but it also comes at a big risk. I was watching Denise Roloff Barnes's show, the Washington Informer's Let's Talk last Friday, and she had something Williams and something the scholarship. I'm sorry, I forget the name of it, but nice young lady. Her and her husband, they give these scholarships. And I was cautioning as I'm typing in the chat, watching the show, like what, because you're saying it's for Black folks, they're going to come for you. Because same like with the Fearless Fund, and this is in Atlanta here, where the Blank Foundation is, where they came for the Fearless Fund because they were Black women helping Black women. And they said, no, you got to help white women too, they said. So I wonder, it's only $2 million, right? And to Arthur M. Blank, that's not, anything
for a billionaire. That's 2 cents,
right? But I wonder if what's the plan when they say no, you can't do that because it's DE&I.
Well, they can't stop you. It's a recommendation, but Trump can't stop you from doing it.
They stopped the Fearless Fund.
But that's federal funding, right?
No, these were Black women. They took them to court.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and so I'm saying
they lost in court. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm wondering what plan that they have for when, because it's not if, but it's when the Trumpers say, "Hey, hold up, that's DE&I. You can't do that. You can't give these Black folks this, or you must include white folks." Because their whole idea, which they want to sell this idea that white folks are discriminated against more than anybody. White men is what Trump said. But that's why they're another reason why they're trying to erase all of the history, right?
Right. It's just, I didn't want to wake up this morning feeling like this. I didn't want to wake up this morning
her own news
feeling like this. I didn't.
Girl,
I feel like wade in the water.
Oh Lord, the old Negro spiritual.
I feel like I'm wading in the water.
Sing along with her, y'all.
Oh my gosh.
Change gonna come.
Right. How did we get back to we shall overcome? I thought we overcame.
Did we overcome at some point?
Well, we did. Well, no, but Barack Obama became president. That was a we shall overcome moment. Whether we didn't know what we was had in store, but that was a we shall overcome moment. Okay.
Okay, so we did at one point overcome, is what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah. We have had our overcome moments. You know, we have.
Oh,
you know, when we get black coaches, when we get a black Supreme Court justice other than Clarence Thomas, when we you know, we have had some overcome moments. We shall overcome moments.
Oh my gosh, it's a shame. You know what? It's really sad that we even have to have conversations like this, right?
It's
in
just,
2025, 57 years after Dr. King's death. 2025, we have 60 years or so after Martin Luther King's death. I mean, Malcolm X's death. We still have to have conversations like this,
right?
Black folks. And but here's the other part of it too. As I said earlier, you know, we're focusing on our plight, but this guy is sparing absolutely no one. He's sparing no one.
Not even his own people.
That's what I'm saying. It's like these so-called supporters, and I saw, you know, I saw the bumbling, buck dancing Byron Donalds defend the fact that he couldn't get a cabinet position, and black folks were really left out of all the decision-making stuff. And I'm thinking, this guy is such, oh my gosh. Just put him out of his. Somebody just put him out the pasture. Put him in a home somewhere.
You know, I'm tired of these FAFOs. You know,
put him in a home somewhere.
You think?
Yeah.
What did you think?
Put a straight jacket on him. Put him in a home, and you know, put a diaper on him. Yeah, just get rid of Byron Donalds. People like that. Just a walking billboard for stupidity. Like, come on.
Now, look, we might disagree on a lot of things, but I agree with you on that one, Stacy.
I mean, it's the truth. Oh, you know what we haven't had yet, and it's already at, oh gosh, we throw the black quiz question up there before we run out of time completely.
Oh, you know what? We have to follow the script.
We went all off script. Can we put the receiving the Presidential Medal of Honor at the age of 97 in 2015? Oh, I know this one. I finally know something. Which trailblazing mathematician remained as largely unknown? Receiving the Presidential Medal of Freedom at age 97 in 2015. Which trailblazing mathematician remained largely unknown? Come on, y'all. Fill the chat.
I know. I have a question. Was there a movie made about her and a few other women?
Okay, you trying to give away the answer, but folks, put the answer in the chat before we.
Was she a hidden figure? Well, we behind. I'm trying to move it along, and I'm just guessing because I don't know. But was there a movie made about her?
Well, before she do all that, why don't you give it? You got any quickies today?
Did Taraji P. Henson play her? I'm trying
What's
to
your quickies,
speed this
girl?
along. I'm trying to, because we're behind.
That's okay.
I hope these are the right questions I'm asking. And so here are your quickies for today. We were talking about billionaires. LeBron James, who is a billionaire, becomes the first male athlete to have a Ken doll made in his likeness as part of the Ken Ambassadors line. Guess how much they cost?
How much?
If you want a LeBron Ken doll, you're gonna have to pay $75. But you know, maybe 10 years from now, it might be worth $5,000. Who knows?
Who knows?
Who knows? Who knows? All right.
Wait. Is Stephen A. Smith jealous that he has this?
Probably so. Nobody wants a Stephen A. Smith doll. I'm sorry. I don't think so. But who would you like? Put in the chat. Who would you like to see as a Ken ambassador? If you could have a black male figure in the image of made in the image of a Ken doll, who would you like to see? Put that in the chat if you guys are interested.
Oh, that's a good one. How about that? I see the guests are the guesses are coming in. Somebody said Catherine with a K. Somebody said Catherine with a C. Somebody says Dr. Joni says she feels bad because she has to Google it, and that isn't fair. All is fair in love and war, Dr. Joni. But anyway, go ahead with some more quickies.
And so also, it's graduation season is coming up along with prom season. But for graduation, the first announcement is Bishop T.D. Jakes is set to deliver the Morris Brown commencement. He's going to do it at the St. Philip AME Church. And that's going to take place on May 17th. And so I think that would be a huge boost of morale and encouragement for those graduates, because T.D. Jakes is going to come with a word.
So a couple of responses to your Ken question. You got Chris Brown and Malcolm X and Jamie Foxx.
Oh, I like the Chris Brown. I like the Malcolm X. I like that. That would be worth a lot of money years from now. Malcolm X style. Yeah, for sure. How about that? That's a good one. And who? Oh, Jamie Foxx. Yeah, I like Jamie Foxx. Yep.
And what about the Chris Brown?
Of course, Chris Brown would sell out like that.
Okay.
Because
will the Chris Brown doll come with a mechanism where he could sell a lap dance for $1,000 or something like that, whatever those women do after his shows?
Okay, let's move on.
They pay all that money just to have a meet and greet with him.
Well,
they do all types of crazy.
For Beyonce. They do it for everybody. Taylor Swift. They all have them.
Oh, dude, I didn't realize that.
Mm-hmm. They have them. They do.
Okay. I know Chris charges like $1,000 though.
And they pay it. Yeah, they do. And so let's talk a little March Madness. Of course, it has come to the end. And then for the women, Juju popped up yesterday and she was talking about her experience. She had never been through it before, but it's come to an end, and UConn beat South Carolina 82-59, falling in sync with how UConn has played the entire tournament. Their lead has always been 20 plus points in just about every game, except the USC game, which proved that if Juju was there, it might have been a different outcome. But nevertheless, go ahead.
The South Carolina has no reason to hang their heads. I mean, it was a pretty lopsided championship game, but they made it all the way to the championship game, and they just ran into a juggernaut. That's all to it. They ran into
UConn deserved it.
Yeah,
they
ran into a team that just would not be beaten. And I'd like to think USC would have beaten them with Juju, but I can't even say that. This team.
Well, the only reason why I'm saying it is because they USC only lost by like 10 points. Juju averages 15 to 20 points per game. And so if you factor that in, that would have been a heated game. But you can't go back on the if, coulda, woulda. They won and they deserved it. I'm happy for Paige, huge Paige Beckers fan. I think Ozzie Fudd did a great job. Sarah Strong, the freshman Sarah Strong, the center. She was in like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Shaquille O'Neal, the way she was racking in them points and holding that basket. KK Johnson, love her. I know they're all going to miss Paige next year because she's such a good captain and such a good team player. And she deserved it. She deserves it all. Yeah. But I think the story coming out of the whole situation was the press conference that was held. And Dawn Staley talked about white privilege without saying it. And she made reference to it happened last year with Caitlin Clark. And she was talking about Paige Beckers and how she's an elite player and she deserves it. But there's enough narrative and enough conversation to uplift her, but also uplift how South Carolina doesn't really have a star. It's a team effort. And they were going for their second consecutive win, or was it their third? Everything was their second consecutive win back to back, and how that should have been a story as well. But they just wanted it to be all about Paige, which was just another word for white privilege and how the media does it. But she didn't say white privilege, but she really nailed that speech. And I thought it was brilliant, excellent. And of course, ESPN took it the wrong way. And then she had to go back and address it yesterday. And so can we hear that?
Be the number one pick in the WNBA draft, and she'll be an Olympian. She'll be all of those things, right? But when you put a narrative out there, everybody sees that, and it puts it puts us at a disadvantage, whether you want to believe so or not. You know, officials see it. You know, it's all over TikTok. It's all over Sports Center. It's all over all of that. And she's a great player. But just because you're a great player doesn't mean you need to win a national championship to legitimize it. Paige is legit. She was legit from the moment she stepped, you know, on this stage or prior to in Minnesota. You know, her career is legendary. She will leave a legacy at UConn, whether she wins one or not. So I just want to put that out there, and I can't not address it because it's happening. Like it happened to us last year. You know, everything was about Caitlin Clark and her legacy and her ability to win a national championship. Yet we were coming to this thing undefeated, doing something that's unprecedented at the time because it's hard. I mean, it's hard. And then we find ourselves back here in a similar situation. So, you know, I want the sentiments to be about our players and what our players been able to do equally, because there's room to do both. I can't.
Yeah, there's room to do both. And in the media, the narrative is always skewed. Mainstream narrative is always skewed. I thought it was important she said that.
Yeah, and it's like Dr. Nicole said, like when LSU won and they wanted to invite the losing team to the White House too, that had never happened either.
Mm-hmm.
And she's 100% right, and ESPN knows she's 100% right. All the sports know she's 100% right. Making the narrative about this one person. Okay, you have enough reporters where you can do a feature on Paige or Caitlin or whomever. But you have enough reporters to say, wait a minute, to have somebody say what South Carolina has done and is doing is historic.
Right.
But that got lost in the narrative, in their narrative. And that's what Dawn was pointing out. And I think it again shows what a great, historically great coach she is.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention, she comes on that court fly, Louis Vuitton, Gucci, you know, Hermes, whatever it is, she has it on. And she just does it with such, you know, finesse. I love it.
And you know that these so-called misinterpretations, they are intentionally misinterpreted. It's intentional.
Well, it's white. To me, she was calling out white privilege without saying it. You know what I'm saying? It's the privilege. And that's why I'm a huge Caitlin Clark. I mean, she's good, but I love me some Paige Beckers because she always finds a way to tell the truth. Like even when she won that ESPY award and she went up there and she accepted the award, she was like, I'm accepting this, but I also want to shine light on the Black players that have come before me, because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be here. They have really shaped what women's basketball is. She, you know, even one of her Egyptian teammate who's Muslim during Ramadan, she would wake up at 3 a.m. and cook her breakfast before the sunrise. She's just such a good person to me, you know, and I just love that little girl. And she's the #1 draft pick. So she'll be #1 for the WNBA draft. And she's one to watch. She's such a good team player. So she deserves it. I'm not mad at it at all. And I don't think Dawn is either.
Yeah. Hey, before you got any more quickies? Because I got one for you.
Oh, well, tonight, the men take center stage. That's Florida playing Houston. I had a chance to finally watch one of the male games. I watched Houston play Duke. And I didn't realize that every player on Houston was Black and they had a Black coach. So I'm like, that's who I'm rooting for. But they did such a great job at beating Duke at the last minute. It was such a good game. So now, of course, I'm be tuned in tonight.
So you telling me an all-Black team beat Duke?
But like with like less than 10 seconds to go.
Listen, just give them the championship.
It was so good. It was so good.
Hey, don't even play tonight. Y'all should just hand them the chance.
It was so good. It was so good.
That's something to talk about at the cookout. So I didn't know that. Now Kim Delaney, she played in, among other things, NYPD Blue. She was Detective Diane Russell on NYPD. I didn't know that she was married to a black man, first of all. I didn't know that. But the reason I bring that up is because you talking about white privilege. She called the cops on her black husband recently, but she was the one who got arrested, which is amazing. He actually was filming the incident in which she called the cops on him, and she tried to run him over with her car. Wow. And so when the cops came and she was making her complaint, and he said, you know, the man's like, check out the video. And so they took her away in cuffs. And then the internet went in on her over the weekend because she sent him flowers and talked about how much she loved him and, you know, blah, 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 blah. And this is a problem. You know, you make a false call. It turns out it wasn't a false call because you're the one committing the crime, but this is a problem, right? Y'all have to beware of the fact that when the cops come, and if it's a black man and a white woman, you better have that video rolling. Because this is ridiculous that she would call the cops on her black husband.
Yeah. I mean, hey, domestic violence. You know, sometimes you don't know who.
It just miffed me. It's like it's meaningless to me. It's meaningless but it miffed me. I was, as W's they were, I was miffed. I was miffed. Like, give me a break. And then she's gonna send him flowers and stuff and talking about, oh, I love what a man he is and this and that. Yeah, give me a break. Go away. You know, her character on NYPD was that of a drunk. She was a drunk detective. She's probably hitting the bottle now. Go hit the bottle.
Oh, well, she was just this close at missing her black card.
She don't have a black card.
Well, I said she was just this close because she's married to a black man, but she's not black. Yeah. So she was just this close. But speaking of, let's talk about the black card today.
Yes.
So today, the black card revoke goes to Miss Ashley Darby. Now, if you don't know who Ashley Darby is, she is a Real Housewives of Potomac. She was married to a white man.
This will be the first time that we revoked from a woman, right?
I'm not sure. I
think so, but go ahead.
She was married to a white man. She has 2 kids by her husband, who she just recently finally divorced. But she decided that because she has several hobbies, you know, one day she's selling clothes, the next minute she's doing TikTok dances. Well, now she's decided that she is a vocalist. And so she went on a local news show in DC and decided that she was going to pay tribute to none other than Roberta Flack. Okay. So she went on the morning show and sung Killing Me Softly. And boy, did they not only kill her, but they dragged her all across social media. Okay. That was her Killing Me Softly moment. She sounded horrible. And it was like so disrespectful for her to even think that she would be qualified or could do that. Now, maybe a Britney Spears tune or one of these pop singers.
Oh, dear
but
Lord.
Girl, Roberta Flack, Ashley. So yeah, her black card is revoked. Listen.
I felt all flush with fever.
Oh God, stop it now.
Embarrassed by the crowd.
Embarrassed for real.
I felt he found my letters and read each one aloud.
Now I could do that. But I would never disrespect Mother Roberta Flack like that.
And singing my life with his words.
Even the background singers don't know what to do.
With his song, killing me softly.
This is killing me
with his song, telling my whole life. With his words, killing me softly.
Killing me softly. with that song, with that rendition. Killing Me Softly with that rendition, okay? Then she had the nerve to go to some supper club.
Oh my God.
So then she went to a club and decided to do it again because she said she didn't do it justice. Girl, Ashley.
Justice would have been somebody carrying you off that stage.
Ashley.
Pam said, oh my, in capital letters.
So at least for this summer, her black card is revoked. She is not allowed to come to the cookout. She's in DC. She can't even go to the museum. She's not allowed at the museum.
Not even the museum? Not the museum.
Go to the museum.
Girl. Not the museum card.
Roberta Flack is in the museum. You should have went there before you even did that. And then I guarantee you, if you would have went there, you wouldn't have did that. Because that was horrible. And who told her? And who was the producer at Fox that allowed that to happen?
Sandy Jones said, how much did she pay the band and singers? Apparently not enough. Because it seems like even the singer, there's a singer all the way on the to my left that when we were showing that video who didn't hold back expression. She was definitely cringing.
But wait a minute. Why she was in rehearsal? They had to rehearse the song before they went there. She knew what she was going to sound like before they got there.
That just bothered your soul, didn't it?
You know, it's like, come on, here's the thing. Sometimes even if you're extending an invitation, if you know that's not your space, or okay, I mean, I sing, but I don't Roberta Flack sing. I mean, I sing, but I don't Anita Baker sing. I sing Britney Spears or, stay in your lane, Ashley. Black card revoked. We can move on now.
But you're so nice about it because you're talking about for the summer, just for the summer.
I mean, because yeah, I said maybe for the summer. It depends. Right. I'm gonna let the people decide. But at least this summer, she's not allowed to any cookouts. Nothing.
Dr. Joni said "pitchy" is a generous term. Oh gosh. All right. Some Black history moments, and she tried to erase some Black history right there.
Okay. The children will never know with that.
Oh my gosh. How will they know?
Greer, did you want to play that clip? If you want to, hit it.
What clip is that? Oh, this one here.
No audio.
Footage that's coming out from the quote performance. And Fox 5 DC, I don't know what y'all doing over there, but you guys need to issue an apology to the audience and to Roberta Flack's family.
My performance, I am beyond words excited. Killing me softly. Hey now, please welcome Ashley Darby. Killing me softly with his song. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
That is hard,
girl.
Listen.
Girl.
That's just. I agree with him 100%.
PM.
Horrible. Okay.
I agree. Fox DC owes an apology too. I agree with him.
Like, there's many people in DC. I mean, they could have just went to a jazz club and picked a singer.
Karaoke.
Come on. Okay.
Oh my gosh, she's good at being a terrible singer is what RNG said. All right, so some Black history moments on this date. In 1712, enslaved Africans launched a rebellion in Manhattan, New York. It began when 24 Africans, including 2 women, gathered late in the evening and set fire to an outhouse in the middle of town. These African men and women, enslaved and oppressed into an inhumane system, had reached the breaking point. They would rather have died than continue to be treated as less than human beings simply on the basis of their skin color. And when the local white folks arrived to extinguish the fire, the Africans emerged wielding axes, guns, and swords. 9 whites were killed and 7 were wounded. They had to call out the militia to stop this. So that's what happened on this date in New York in 1712.
Yeah, and on this date in 1940, Booker T. Washington was the first Black to be honored with the stamp, a U.S. Postal stamp. Washington was part of the U.S. Postal Service's famous American series. Now, guess how much the stamp was in 1940?
Oh, gosh.
10 cents.
10 cents. What is it now? Like $1 and change?
Close to it. Close to it.
Good grief.
So it makes you wonder, too, when we have all these collectible stamps with Black pioneers and culture icons, if that'll stop now.
Yeah, true. Wow.
Yeah.
That is interesting.
10 cents. Booker T. Washington.
Wow. Okay. Well, we got to get to our pop quiz now, right? What's the answer? The answer is
well, give us the question. Oh, Katherine Johnson.
Katherine Johnson. So several people had it right. Yeah, that one I even have right. And
Yeah.
it's Katherine with a K, y'all.
It's with the K. And if you want to know more about her, you can check out Hidden Figures. It stars Octavia Spencer. I believe Taraji P. Henson plays Katherine Johnson. Really great movie, just about, history and how these women were in an all-white male situation. They had to go miles to even use the bathroom. They couldn't even, they were busting formulas in science, but they couldn't even use the same restroom in the same building. And these are the types of things that Donald Trump doesn't want us to talk about. Ridiculous.
There you go. Well, our Black-owned newspaper of the day comes from Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Yes, the Westside Gazette. Since the first issue rolled off the press in 1971, the Westside Gazette has maintained the professional, insightful, and reader-sensitive reporting that has gained the trust and respect of South Florida's African-American community. The motto of the Westside Gazette is, quote, a positive paper for positive people. Bobby Henry is the publisher of the Westside Gazette. He is also the chairman of the National Newspaper Publishers Association. And he says that this perception is our commitment, or precept, I should say, is our commitment to delivering inspirational, informative, and empowering stories to South Florida's African-American community. The Westside Gazette is a sponsor of several events that benefit and uplift the Black community. So kudos to the Westside Gazette. They have their website, of course. You can go check it out. And our very best goes out to Bobby Henry and his father. Bobby's the last time we heard from Bobby a few days ago, he was in North Carolina looking after his dad. So all the best there to Bobby Henry and his family.
Don't they have a weekly podcast too on Thursdays?
On Thursday night, it's the 2-minute warning or 2-minute drill. One of the 2-minute warning. Every Thursday night at 7:00 on YouTube. Facebook Live is hosted by Bobby and Perry Busby, and so you can check them out on Thursday night. So there you have the Westside Gazette.
Yeah, and of course for all Black newspapers, headline stories, and just to know what the 411 is with the Black experience, you want to head over to BlackPressUSA.com.
What's the 411? There you go.
I got something about her coming up, but I'm holding it until Thursday. So we have a Mary J. Blige announcement coming up, and we're going to hold it till Thursday.
A cliffhanger. All right. So join us on Thursday, but join us tomorrow too, because maybe we'll have some more some good news instead of all this other stuff that gets Niele down at 4:30 in the morning.
You know.
We'll see y'all tomorrow. Thanks for watching.